Let's talk some toys in here. Hey, how's everybody doing today? It's the Man Child. Alright, so today up for review, I'm going to go over my Masters Universe Origins Wave 12 Duplico figure. So yeah, so here more or less you can see I finally got a Duplico in hand. He was a Wallmart exclusive, I believe. A really difficult figure to get. So to go on a little back history or story of this particular figure character, as far as what I know, he kind of came out of nowhere when the Wave 12 Origins figures came out. And I want to say he was almost like a chase figure or a variant, or I don't know what the story with him was. Obviously, he was part of the Rulers of the Sun Sunman series. Now, of course, we know a lot of our Origins were always mixed with the Sunman figures. I bought a couple of them, reviewed them. Most people were mixed on them. Either they didn't like the figures or didn't like the idea they were wave into the mix into the Origins wave. I sort of agree with that. I didn't like the idea they were in the Origins wave. They should have been their own thing. I got the regular Sunman, and I did get that 3-pack head, the jar head, the flat top cut. Use that head now. So that Sunman looks really cool. And I like Pig Head. I thought of all the Sunman figures, those two worked really well with the Origins line. It just looked like something that could have been in the vintage collection to me. But having Duplico in hand, I got to be honest, he looks pretty cool. And again, he looks like something that could have been in the original vintage collection. So as I was saying, it was a Walmart exclusive, and 2 months ago, I remember seeing this guy pop on eBay for like $300. People were, they were bidding on his figure. And I couldn't believe it. And I told myself, like, I had no interest in him because he was a Sunman. I was pretty much done with Sunman. I got what I got, and I wanted to focus on, the Origins vintage-inspired collection, like a lot of us. I said, unless I could find this guy for $20 or under, I refuse to get him. And people watch my channel know I go out of my way. I'll pay extra cost overseas, whatever, to get stuff in early to review it on my channel if I can. But Duplico is not one of them. Again, because I want to stick to the Origins theme. Go that route. No more Sunman figures. But anyway, I get this confirmation from, or an ad, I want to say, from Walmart on my email because I'm kind of signed up. And I went, they go into my like toy history and they show, oh, this guy's on sale and this is on sale. And they show Duplico was on sale. I went, what? So I went on their site. And according to the site, they had some in stock for like $19.99. And I think I got free shipping on it. So, make a long story short, I picked up a Duplico and here he is for $20. Now, when I did get him, I did post some pics online. I got the feedback and comments. And most people were like, congrats. Oh, I hope I can get a Duplico. Or I did go to Walmart. I got a Duplico coming. Or I placed my order for Duplico and they canceled my order. Walmart is notorious for this. I've had plenty of orders canceled. Or, I placed something in a cart and I couldn't get it. Or my cards come bent. So you can see my Duplico, the card came bent. I put some tape to fix it. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. But for $20, I'm going to take this guy at a card and review him for you guys, and just myself, because I want to see what the big hype is about. But otherwise, in hand for $20, he looks pretty cool, so let's take a look at him. I'm taking a quick look at the back of Duplico's card. So once again, we get the awesome Origins art. And it looks like we have now Pighead alongside of the Snake Armored Skeletor fighting with Duplico. And it says, Duplico centers himself to regenerate, duplicate, or even travel the astral plane. So I don't know if he's magic or has something to do with the vest equipment, sort of like the He-Man cross armor did in some of the comics. And dropping down the left-hand side, just check out his accessories or action features. So it says, fit powerful saw into hand. That does not look like a saw to me. It looks like some kind of blaster. Or maybe it's meant to be like a laser saw or something's going to come out. I don't know, but I don't see accessory for that. And then you can hook it onto the belt, which, that's pretty neat. And then moving over here, of course, we have the iconic cross-cell and the Rise of Snakeman bio, but even on Duplico's cross-cell. So now we have the typical 3 other figures as part of the Wave 12 series, right? Tongue Lasher, Snake Armor Skeletor, and that variant Roboto. And there was also Hypno. Now you can see he's not on here, and I didn't get him because, once again, I want to stick to the rest of the vintage-inspired Origins. But now we have Duplico. So before we take a look at the Duplico figure, right, a really important part is the comic. Now usually, comics on most of the Origins, I just kind of flip it, take a quick look, read it, and of course when you get your figure, take out a card, you can read your own. Waste too much time on that, but I read through this a little bit, pretty interesting. So obviously pretty cool cover, and yeah, I'm gonna pause. You can pause and try to Try to read it if you want. I don't know how interesting. I'll just bring it like this. You check out all the different warnings because it is interesting. So he's more or less, yeah, just an everyday explorer, and he falls. If you read down here and gets hurt, and then that sun, which is part of like the Sunman Ruler of the galaxy, basically shines down upon him and gives him this particular power and turns him into this Duplico figure. It's kind of what I get out of it. So once again, you can check out he has all different powers now. And of course, he joins up with Snake Armored He-Man, and he's in battle with the Snake Men. You know, comes a ally, a friend like that, and they just go to battle. And then here's King Hiss here. I'll pause and read that. So he's trying to use this weapon from what I read briefly. Again, I got to read the comic a little better when I get time. He wants to harness that energy from that the sun. Powers from it. Check all that out, right? And there's the last page here. I'll bring that in. So everybody's going to battle here. It looks like Duplico destroys that weapon that King Hiss had to try to harness the sun's power. Ruler from the rulers of the Sun Galaxy. Right, and then, yeah, they're friends, and there's the sun happy again. There's the back. And finally moving on to Duplico out of card. Here he is. Yeah, pretty cool, you know. It's a really good head sculpt, unique armor, the weapon. We'll take a look at that soon. Overall, he's just using parts from the Sunman series, exactly as the Origins or Vintage figures use parts from the buck and the bracers and the boots and the loincloth, the whole deal. He's doing the same thing from Sunman, but of course the colors are changed, so the only thing you're really getting different is the weapon, the head, different color skin, and the armored. And bringing in Duplico for a closer look. So a really good head sculpt, a lot of detail and attention. I like when they do that with certain Origins. You know, they just released the Serpent Claw Man at Arms. I reviewed him. Of course, he was a variant, but they could have put a little white in the eyes. It just left those black doll eyes, like going back to the Vintage. I mean, you know, I know the line's supposed to be on the simpler side, but with the articulation and stuff, there are certain figures they put more detail in others, and I like when they do that. Anyway, so here's a closer look. Check out the way, just, yeah, the eyes are painted. You know, decent facial features. I like the hair, you know, it's, yeah, kind of reminiscent of another He-Man with short, blonde, comb back hair now or something. Now somebody in the comments said he looks like The Rock or something with blonde hair. Yeah, I could see that. I think The Rock's a cool dude. When he did have hair back in the day, and that's what these guys remind me of rustlers, right? So, and that's fun because really the whole Motu line reminds me of you know, wrestling guys going back in the day in the '80s when we collected that stuff and wrestling was big. That's all they were. Muscle guys with weird hair, maybe some armor to come out with, or some kind of weird shirt, tight shorts, boots. I mean, you know, it was awesome in the day and still is. As far as the articulation, so all typical stuff, left, right, and go down, back, that far and up. Yeah, so there's the rest of the tension. Had the hair, good sculpting, awesome paint, very vibrant. So moving down to the chest and buck and armored, of course. Yeah, unique armor. Got some kind of utility pouches going on here. It's, of course, all one sculpt or color. And, I don't know, I guess this is all supposed to be extra armor plating or whatnot, or extra sculpting. There's a front and back, and there's a cut going down the back. So you can see that utility belt is also a part of the armor, goes around. There's a little hook for the weapon. We'll get in that soon. So I guess the armor I guess it's just more protection. I don't know if it gives him powers, as I said earlier. Now, if you go back to that part in the comic, it doesn't really explain. It just, yeah, when he falls, he gets hurt and he awakens, and then he gets this power. And now he has the armored, almost like, sort of transforms like He-Man. And now this is how he is, you know. Anyway. So, it's, of course, typical arms, Origins arms. It's a dark, it's like it's a whitish color. Very similar to He-Man. And the articulation, the up, down, forward, back, bend at the elbow. Got these Sunman wrist bracers, just like the Sunman a lot of characters have. They share those parts. But, of course, it's painted blue. The outer rings are red. You see it has that white symbol, or that Sunman symbol. Color is going to match the vest, obviously. And Duplico comes with, and yeah, these are all part of sculpt. I figured they would be. And then two closed semi-gripping weapon hands, I call them. They could spin and go in and out on hinge joints. So moving back down to the vest, so as far as to remove it, it's just a buckle you're going to pop on this side. And of course, buckle on the right side. And then it looks like the whole vest can just pull right over the body like this, so you don't have to take the head off. And there's a close look at that vest off the body, right, front and back, so you can see everything, how soft it is, and the inside. And here's a closer look at that hook on the back to hold the gun. So you kind of see this long string. It's about 6-7 inches long. They have a knot in here from the top. That's how it's tied. So you can actually pull it and bring the whole weapon up. And taking a closer look at his gun, weapon, or sword, they're calling it, that's about it. Pretty cool design. See the front there, but it doesn't have anything that attaches on it. So they're, yeah, it just says saw, but I'm going to pretend mine's a blaster. So maybe when he pulls a trigger, a laser chainsaw thing would come out. That's what they're saying, or a big blast effect. Yeah, I'm going to call mine a blaster. But anyway, and then you can, as far as the hook on the back, you can, I guess it don't matter which way it goes. You can use the handle, looks like, and it pops down like that. But when you do this, the knot, the way mine's tied, gets in the way. So you have to pull it up and then push the handle, lock it, and then holds really well. And moving back to the card art for a minute, it's not what they're showing how it hooks. See, it doesn't look like that handle hooks into the loop. And moving back to the weapon and gun for a minute, so yeah, I wrapped it around. I had to get that knot out of the way, and I guess it's going to be something like this hanging on them. So yeah, it does work. You have to pull that knot up just like putting a gun because it just takes up the space for all the string, but something like that, either or. And now moving back to Duplico with the armored off. So yep, just typical He-Man, Skeletor, Buck, front and back. As far as customs or parts, right, we can pop the head off. We know the waist snaps apart and then the arm. And then putting everything back together so we know the arms, the head, all the articulation, same deal. Of course, can spin at the waist, come apart. As far as the legs with the armored off, could do a split. Kick about that far forward, go back. Bend up at the knee, spin at the knee. Spin at the boot. You can see all the, just the overall, it's a Sunman. Looks like a typical style Sunman boot to me. And painted blue with some red hot tips there. Okay, the boot can spin, go up and down, and rock side to side. And you can pop the boots off too. And put some He-Man boots or whatever you wanted to. You didn't like these on this figure. Alright, so I set Duplico back up with the armor on. Put the gun in hand. You want to check that out. And there's a kind of a side-by-side comparison with Snake Armored He-Man, like the comic book a little bit for fun. Now, the other thing too is usually I do part swapping and change outs and all those good things. He has a very unique skin color. I went through all my He-Man figures because I was like, well, what if you want to convert him to He-Man, put some chest armored heads, stuff like that. I mean, you could do that with any He-Man body. You want to use these bracers. I don't know how many people can do that, but that's all, part of the fun of customizing them. But yeah, his skin color is very unique. I don't have a single figure that matches his tone. And now bringing in a couple other exclusive Origins characters. So we have Wondar, which was released a couple times on Mattel Creations. Sort of was a hard figure to get, but sooner or later people started getting them if you did go on that site. And this was the New Adventures He-Man as part of the Origins line, which was also exclusive with that Mattel Creations 4-pack. So, here we have these unique He-Man-like figures. I mean, I wouldn't consider him a He-Man, but something mystical now like that, according to the comic book. Yeah, again, these all have a little bit unique skin colors from the Flying Fist He-Man, Battle Armor, the regular. I looked at them all, and still, it's a very unique skin color. It's like, it's whitish, but has tan in it, and like almost a shade of gray or something. So to try a little bit of mix and match as far as parts, again, you can't really do much with the lower body or anything because its own unique skin color just doesn't match anything I have without it looking goofy. But, every newer figure, for some reason, that's heroic. Kind of reminds me of, it could be another He-Man variant because of his hair. It looks something like the New Adventures He-Man, or people took the regular Sunman figure and turned him into a black He-Man, stuff like that. So that's always fun. So all I can really do is just throw the weapons in hand and He-Man's cross armor on him with that head. So you want to take a look at something like that, you can mix and match parts that way. And then to go a little further, I just took the regular pair of He-Man boots off and put it on his feet. But again, we can't really do much. We can't change out the waist or the loincloth without removing the legs. Now you can do that. There is a way. That's a little more complex. I don't really want to mess with my figure that way, but for customizers, it's possible. And of course, the wrist bracers really can't do much either because they're part of the sculpt. They don't come off. And one more quick custom for interest would be the Duplico armored on a regular release He-Man, right? Because, yeah, it's always fun to have some type of new cosmic armored and convert our He-Man to some type of variant again. Instead of battle armored, Duplico armored. And mine has a custom. That's a custom head. I've showed that before, which I think looks a lot better. I got that on eBay some years ago, but take a look at that. Okay, so that's pretty much my review on the new Duplico figure as part of the Master of the Universe Origins or Sunman series. My final thoughts is, in hand, he's pretty cool. I think he works well with the Origins line. you can find him for 20 bucks or whatever you're willing to pay. I don't think he's worth 300. He does look cool in card. Of course, I ripped mine out. It was bent anyway. And just keep checking Walmart's and online. I'm sure more's going to come in. I don't understand the backstory of why he's so limited and such a chase figure and everybody's going crazy for him. The more I look at it, I kind of feel like it was sort of a promotion, a hidden, non-spoken promotional chase figure by Mattel. I've seen this in the past with toy collecting, McFarlane Toys years ago, and you get this rare figure that nobody talks about, and just shows up, and then like, who's this? And people paying a lot of money for it, and it helps kind of build interest. And it's just a promotional thing for the Origins or Sunman line, And then the company looks at that and say, okay, the line's selling well, and this, that, and the other thing. Maybe, or they just not making enough of them, or didn't have a good plan, whatever it is. It's a fun character. I'm glad I got him. Again, check your Walmarts. I don't think he's worth over 20 or 30 bucks at most. And the other problem, too, is you can't do too many customs with him, aside changing armor pieces, like I showed with the He-Man, or putting his on, whatever, He-Man, Skeletor, Sunman, Man-at-Arms, whatever you want to put this armor and gun on. You can't do much with the wrist bracers. You can't cut them off because the part of the skull won't look right. You can't do much with the loincloth unless you want to change legs out with the He-Man legs, and you can do the boots, of course. You can do that. Just got to heat it. It's a little work. I didn't want to do that on camera of mine. A lot of people don't. But beside that, it's cool. I'm happy to get one for 20 bucks and review it for you guys. So let me know what you think in the comments. I appreciate everybody watching. And until next time, take care.